Hey everybody, Paizo just released their core preview highlighting a lot of the changes that are coming with the Remaster project, and I wanted to get out a quick video covering some of those items. Keep in mind, as a preview, nothing here is really etched in stone, and there are several places in the document that references future errata that is still in the works. Also, at 19 pages long, I won't be covering every single change here, but you can use the link in the description to download a copy of it yourself and read through everything. First, the document gives us a handy table summarizing many of the changes and the reason why. Several of these changes were already included in Rage of Elements, but others are new. This includes changes to location names. For example, the Abyss is now the Outer Rifts, the Material Plane is now the Universe, and the Shadow Plane is now the Netherworld. It also includes changes to several elemental creatures and languages. For example, Ignan is now Pyrrhic. There is also new terminology for familiar concepts. Attack of Opportunity is now called Reactive Strike. Flat-footed is now Off Guard. The Focus Spell component is now called a Locus so as to not be confused with Focus Spells, and spell levels are now called spell ranks. A few items and materials have also received a name change, like Darkwood becoming Duskwood and Mithril becoming Dawnsilver. Following that, the preview dives into deeper detail on a few topics. First is the removal of ability scores. The scores themselves are gone, and now only their modifiers will be used. For example, if you currently have a strength ability score of 16 and therefore a strength modifier of +3, in the Remaster edition, the 16 is removed and you simply have a strength mod of +3. Also, the term ability is changed to attribute, so you'll have 6 attribute modifiers. This will be fairly simple to manage, but there are 2 points worth mentioning. First, when you gain an attribute boost while leveling up, you can increase an attribute modifier by +1, but if that modifier is already +4 or higher, it will take 2 boosts to increase it further, very similar to how it is done today. In those cases, you will simply note partial boost on the sheet, and it will increase after the second boost is applied. Also note that you may need to do some minor conversions on the fly when it comes to prereqs. For example, the Fighter Dedication feat requires Strength 14 and Dexterity 14. Since ability scores are being removed, you may need to convert these to modifiers. A simple way to do this is to divide the second number by 2. A score of 12 is +1, 14 is +2, 16 is +3, and so on. So in the future, the Fighter Dedication will likely have prerequisites of Strength +2 and Dexterity +2. The second big change is to alignment, which is being removed. Instead, players will have the option of taking Edicts and Anathema. These are brief statements that describe what behaviors a character is likely to perform and likely to avoid. These can be suggested by a character's ancestry and class. For example, the preview provides the following for Orc characters. Popular edicts: become even stronger, share knowledge you won through pain, destroy the undead. And for Anathema, accept defeat without proof of strength, reshape or reanimate a creature into something lesser. With alignment being removed, there are also changes coming for things like alignment damage. In the Remaster edition, all 4 of the alignment damages are being removed and replaced with a sanctification system. Simply put, all characters who receive their power from a deity will be, quote, sanctified. This will apply either the holy or unholy trait to them, and in some cases neither, but never will a character be both holy and unholy. Holy damage will affect creatures with the unholy trait, and unholy damage will affect creatures with the holy trait, sort of like how good and evil damages work now. Some abilities and effects will have the sanctified trait, which means it adopts the holy or unholy trait of the person using it. An easy analogy for this might be how current deities grant their followers the ability to cast either harm or heal, or allow them to choose one or the other. In the future, such characters will gain either the holy or unholy trait, or they may be allowed to choose one of the two. And in some cases, the character will also be allowed to select neither of them. The holy-unholy sanctification system only applies to deities and conflicts with celestials and fiends. But in current Pathfinder, it's possible to deal alignment-based damage to creatures that have nothing to do with concerns of heaven and hell. For these situations, the Remaster edition is removing all alignment damage and replacing it with one damage type called Spirit Damage. It's also worth mentioning that positive and negative damages are also receiving name changes. Negative damage is now called Void Damage, and positive damage is now known as Vitality Damage. Different names, but they work the same as before. Vitality damage harms undead, and Void damage harms the living. There are some changes also coming to druids to bring them in line with Rage of Elements. Specifically, their anathema against using metal armor and shields is being removed now that metal is one of the elements. Schools of magic are also being removed, but illusion will remain as a trait. With the removal of spell schools, wizards now have a set of curriculum spells and curriculum spell slots. Players will still choose an arcane school, and each school will provide a list of spells in their curriculum. But the schools will mostly be new and not exactly one-to-one conversions of the current schools of magic. The preview document provides the School of Mentalism as one such example. Although the schools have changed, they seem functionally similar to what you're used to. Focus spells have also been revised. Abilities that give you focus spells no longer mention how many focus points they add to your pool because the rules have been simplified. The maximum number of focus points in your pool is always equal to the number of focus spells you know. That's what this first release of the preview document says. However, it should be mentioned that per a forum post by Luis Loza, characters are still capped at a maximum of 3 focus points. And refocus has also been improved by removing the often confusing requirement that you must have spent at least 1 focus point since you last regained any focus points in order to refocus. It appears that now you can regain all of your focus points provided you have enough time to do so. Spells have also had their components removed in favor of simply using traits like Concentrate and Manipulate. Spell stat blocks have also been revised so that the cast entry only appears if it takes longer than 3 actions to cast, and the save listing has been changed to Defense so that it can also include armor class for clarity. The next 11 pages of the preview document are all revised spells, and I'm not going to go over all of them here, but most of the changes appear to be purely cosmetic. For example, Burning Hands is now called Breathe Fire. Different names and slightly different descriptions, but mechanically they're the same. However, a few spells did get material changes as well. For example, Magic Weapon not only got its name changed to Runic Weapon, but the spell now has additional abilities when heightened to 6th and 9th levels. It is also no longer limited to being used on only non-magic weapons. Like I said, the list of revised spells feels a mile long, and most appear to just be cosmetic changes, but if you would like to delve deeper, you can always download the entire document using the link in the description. Following the spells, the preview mentions that Talismans are getting buffed and provides a couple of examples including the Mesmerizing Opal, which increases a success with Deception to Feint to a critical success. And the remainder of the preview goes over changes to monsters, which again are largely cosmetic and familiar if you've had a chance to read Rage of Elements. For example, Mephits are now Scamps, and the various elemental genie types have received revised names as well. So that's it for a quick look at the Remaster Core preview document. I'll have more when the Remaster Core book releases. As always, thanks to everyone who supports this channel. Take care and happy gaming.